I ended up playing Animal Crossing for the very first time in winter of 2020 because I was stuck at home and wanted an escape from all the things happening in the world. Unlike a lot of people who have played New Horizons, I wasn't all that familiar with earlier versions of Animal Crossing. But from what I hear, they can get pretty intense. But one thing I did gather was that in the newer version, appearance played a much more vital role than in any of the previous versions. And one thing you have to consider is that graphics were a lot better. So to a degree, it does make sense that aesthetics were taken more into consideration. I remember seeing all those beautiful island pictures on Pinterest and Instagram, the island tours on YouTube. Players would share outfits they had designed in the game. That was all fine and dandy, and even inspirational at times, because at the end of the day, you can change the appearance of your island to fit your individual preference. But one thing you can't change is the appearance of the villagers themselves. And if you were a villager with less than desirable traits, well, let's just say life wasn't exactly the best.
Gloria?
You see, at first, I didn't like her. The more I looked at her, the more she grew on me. Mm-hmm. And then I kept looking at her, and now I don't like her again.
Okay.
I'm sure whoever it is can't be too bad. Oh my god. The first villager to randomly show up in my town was Hopper. And look, I'm sorry if this red-eyed, angry little man is somehow your favorite, but he's not mine, okay? He's really scary. I just want my biscuit back.
And one of them said if you just build a fence all the way around their house and trap them there so they literally can't talk to anyone, go out and do anything, basically just like real life quarantine, then eventually they'll get fed up and move. But these fucking animals are quarantine queens.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've gotten pretty dang attached to this group of villagers. This is my first full Animal Crossing town, man. I love all these guys. Except Canberra. I still don't really know much about her. And I know a bunch of you in the comments last time kept saying I got all the ugly villagers, and you know what? You're right. But ugly villagers need love too, dang it. You think I'm gonna tell Elise to leave just cause she's really unpleasant to look at? No, she's having a great time. I'm not gonna ruin that.
Now, sort of as a retrospective, I wanted to revisit how villagers in Animal Crossing were treated depending on their appearance, and some of the lengths people would go for their favorites and also non-favorites. You ever heard the phrase, the good, the bad, and the ugly? Well, there was a similar philosophy in Animal Crossing, except it was more like the dreamies, the normies, and the ugly. Let's begin with the dreamies. Although I assume most people who clicked on this video know a little bit about Animal Crossing, for those of you who don't, Dreamy can be defined as a villager that you adore. Dreamy is such a cute word for it, but you've probably heard of something similar if you're part of any fandom at all, whether it's your bias, your Oshi, or your favorite. There are also some universally beloved animal villagers like Judy, Marina, Anka, Bo, Sherb, Raymond, and Marshall. There are even some sites solely dedicated to ranking the popularity of villagers. YouTubers will rank their favorite and least favorite villagers. There are plenty of videos out there of people doing dreamy searches where they would utilize Nook Mile tickets to eventually be united with their dreamy. Because there's something really fun about spending your time and energy searching on every single island until your dreamy appears. I don't know, something about it. I was really obsessed with these videos, especially in 2020. Raymond was really popular in his heyday for a couple of reasons. 1, he's a cat, so automatic bonus points. 2, he has heterochromia. 3, the outfits people would put him in, especially like the maid outfit. And 4, he was a new villager, so unlike other villagers from previous games, you couldn't use an Omino card to get Raymond on your island. The only way to get Raymond was to either find him on an island or pay an excruciating amount of money. Another fan favorite, which I think was for a really, really sweet reason, is Audie, who is thought to be named after grandmother Audrey, who went viral for playing nearly 4,000 hours of Animal Crossing New Leaf. Also, Audie just looks really stylish. Normies are villagers who aren't a dreamy but also not considered to be atrocious enough to be put in the ugly category. A normie can move into the dreamy category, otherwise they're kind of treated as placeholders until their dreamy arrives, or they might be included if they fit an individual's island's aesthetic. The ugly. Okay, pretty self-explanatory, but if a character gets this reaction out of you, it's probably in the ugly category. Now, all hope is not lost. I think some even grow fond of villagers categorized as ugly and find their traits to be very endearing. But when you can only have 10 villagers on your island, it's not very surprising that you would want to fill those spots with your dreamies. It's kind of funny because people who try to get villagers they hate off their island try to either isolate them or avoid them at all costs, but the most likely way to actually boot them off an island is by befriending them and waiting until they decide themselves to leave. Just imagine, what if plastic surgery was a thing in Animal Crossing? How many people would be willing to change the appearance of a particular villager? Because people have already done makeovers and edits of villagers where they either remove or add a couple of traits to their appearance. And it's so interesting how small and minute details can affect one's overall appearance so greatly. It's kind of like how in the movies, the main character would remove their glasses and suddenly they're a whole new person now. One last thing, and the biggest reason as to why I think we value appearance so much in Animal Crossing, has to do with dialogue. In Animal Crossing, there are several different personality types, including normals, jocks, peppy, lazy, snooty, cranky, smug, and big sister. Each personality type has a similar vibe in terms of how they speak, but each individual villager has their own unique style preferences no matter what their actual personality type is. And one big reason people enjoy the earlier versions of Animal Crossing is because the dialogue was so unique to each villager, and it felt like you were actually conversing with someone and not just talking to an NPC with predetermined dialogue. In New Horizons, there's a lot more limited dialogue, especially among the personality types. So once you spoke to one peppy villager, it feels like you spoke to them all. And that's why people usually avoid getting villagers of all the same type, also because you need certain personality types to unlock certain expressions. And with so little actual personality separating one from the next, a lot of people's preferences for the villagers fell onto their appearance. And this isn't just limited to the villagers themselves. Sometimes people would get a villager due to the aesthetics of their home, which would fit in with their island's theme. I mean, at the end of the day, people will like what they like. I say just don't denounce a villager purely based off their appearance alone. But at the same time, it's your game, so play it how you want. I just thought this would be an interesting discussion, so let me know your thoughts down below on how you feel about villagers and their treatment within Animal Crossing, and what could be done to improve how villagers interact with players. Also, sorry for my voice. I've been sick for the past 2 weeks, and just now my voice is sounding kinda okay, so I wanted to record this, but I hope it wasn't too much of a bother. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm Thorn, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay, it's ending. I can ask for the KK house again. Yay! Yay!